Have you ever heard, sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite? Well, this saying may be more relevant than ever as the tri-state is beginning to see an increase in bed bug activity.
Bedbugs are small, wingless insects that feed on blood. Adults are a flattened oval shape
About the size of an apple seed,
and rusty brown in color.
bed bugs are active at night. During the daytime, they prefer to hide close to where you sleep. They like to live in mattresses, box springs, bed frames, and headboards, but the bugs eventually may become scattered throughout a room in any crevice or available hiding place.
Homeowners, tenants, and property owners all have an important role in eliminating bedbugs. In addition to contacting a pest control operator, homeowners should reduce clutter, inspect and vacuum around rooms and furniture. Before throwing away, seal used vacuum bags in plastic so bedbugs can't escape. Wash bedding and clothes in hot water and put clothing in a dryer for at least 5 minutes to kill bedbugs.
Tenants can do their part by contacting the landlord as soon as there is a problem. Tenants must remove clutter before treatment can begin.
Property owners and managers should coordinate with tenants and a pest control operator. Regulations may require that any insecticidal applications be made by a licensed pest control operator.
Bed bugs have not been known to cause disease. For this reason, they are not considered a serious health threat, just a nuisance. They usually bite people at night while they are sleeping. The bites are painless and the person is usually unaware that they are being bitten. However, some people develop itchy red welts or swelling, while others have little to no reaction at all. Don't scratch the bites. This could cause an infection. Be sure to speak with your doctor.
Hi, I'm Tom Hooper. I'm a registered sanitarian with the Cincinnati Health Department. And today's topic is bed bugs. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the biology, inspections, and treatments. Bed bugs are a worldwide problem, and we're going to talk a little bit about situations other than Cincinnati. And one of the problems they're having in Winnipeg, Canada, in 2006, they were treating a 73-unit complex, and it's been infested for over 3 years. They spent over $250,000, and in that time period, they have still 40 units out of 73 that are still infected with bed bugs. And one of the problems they're having is residents are picking up the used furniture that others are putting out. And that's one of the problems we have in Cincinnati and other cities across the United States. So you can see, even though they're spending a lot of money and they're doing a lot of pest control, they're still having a lot of problems. Other issues we're having is in schools. In Queens, New York, they had confirmed sightings in 2006, 95 confirmed bed bug cases in 43 schools. And bed bugs, it's a real problem. And bed bugs, they're a fact of life, and they will rival roaches and rats as familiar pests. And some of the reasons for bed bug resurgence, there's greater human mobility, a lot of travel, international travel. There's less use of residuals. Years ago, pest control operators, they used to carry these silver sprayers around. They used to spray all around apartments. We have less use of pesticides. A lot of pesticides we used to use that we don't use anymore. We have a switch from a lot of liquid pesticides to baits that we use now, and we use pheromone traps. So we're not using a lot of liquid pesticides anymore. And a lot of pest control professionals are not familiar with bed bugs. And we have inadequate surveys on them. We have the wrong IDs, incomplete treatments. And we do get a lot of calls where pest control operators, and one of the problems we have is the proliferation we're using right now for treating the repellent to bed bugs, and the bugs don't get a lethal dosage. Harborages are easy to miss, and the bugs may detect and avoid residual treatments. and the bug populations may split or move from treated areas. As far as medical importance of bed bugs, several species feed on humans, including the common bed bug, which is a Cimex lectularius, and there is a tropical bed bug, and there are bat bugs and poultry bugs. But the one we're concerned with is a Cimex lectularius, and that's the common bed bug, and that's the one we have in Cincinnati. And salivary proteins, it causes sensitivity, and that's the repeated bites and by large numbers of bed bugs. And there is a serious social stigma to having an infestation, and that's one of the problems. Is sometimes people will have bed bugs and they don't tell anybody, and they may have bed bugs for up to 6 months or so, and we have serious infestations, and they're spreading to other units and apartment complexes, and they don't tell anybody because they're embarrassed to have the bed bugs. People often call unknown bites bed bugs, and they'll go to doctors and they really can't identify what the bed bug bites are. It could be spider bites, mosquito bites, there's other bites, tick bites, and so when they go to a doctor they really don't know what they're dealing with. And we do have what's called delusions of parasitosis, and we have people send in containers with skin, maybe dust or any other little objects in there, and they think they have bed bugs or something else in there. So people have little delusions of they're getting bit by something. And bed bugs they have been found naturally infected with 20 plus human pathogens. Fortunately though, bed bugs have never been proven to transmit any human diseases. So at this point, they are not considered to be a health risk or a health hazard to humans. So bed bugs are nocturnal, so they are can avoid detection during the day, and that allows them to let the populations grow. And they will grow from egg to adult in 5 to 8 weeks, and that's in optimal conditions, and they do like temperature ranges from 70 to 90 degrees. And their lifespan usually is about 8 months, but as short as 6 months they can die off or maybe live up to 1.5 years. And adults, they can live greater than 1 year, up to 1.5 years without feeding, without a blood meal. So if you think maybe you can just leave an apartment vacant for half a year or so, that's not going to help, because they can live over 1 year without a blood meal. The nymphs, the ones that are not adults yet, the younger instars, can live 3 to 4 months without a blood meal. Female bed bugs lay up to 5 eggs a day, producing up to 500 during their lifespan. Females, they will cement their eggs into cracks, crevices, and wall voids, and that will enhance their survival rates of the eggs by avoiding commonly treated areas. And the bed bugs will travel within wall voids, making room-to-room movement very likely. And besides humans, bed bugs will get on rodents, birds, and pets, and these act as hosts, causing the infestation to move around structures. Sometimes we'll see bird cages, and bed bugs will be in bird cages. A little bit more about the bed bugs. They have very small bodies, 1/8 to 1/4 inch long. They're very flat, and they're oval, and they are reddish brown in color. And the males, their abdomens are pointed, and the females are rounded. And this is an adult male, and you can see the abdomen, the rear end is kind of pointed a little bit, while the females are a little bit more rounded. And the bugs, as you can see, are very flat. And they get on all types of objects. And with these flat bodies, they can get in all kinds of small cracks and crevices. And we do have mistaken identities. On the left, you can see that's a German cockroach nymph, which could be mistaken as a bed bug. And on the right, we have a dog tick. And dog ticks are very much similar to bed bugs in size and appearance. And bat bugs are identical to bed bugs. Now, sometimes we will have infestation of bat bugs, if somebody would have bats in the attic and the bats are excluded from the house, the bat bugs no longer have a food source and they will migrate down into living areas. But normally you're only going to have bat bugs if the bats are gone and they no longer had a food source, as we said. And now, as I said, to only be in the upper floors of the building. Most of the times, we're going to have bed bugs in the Cincinnati area. And the way to identify those is the fringe hairs on the pronotum of the bat bug, or it has the longer fringe hairs. The bed bug will have shorter fringe hairs. And now the bed bugs, they only feed on blood, and they're feeding on mammals or birds. And the bed bugs, they attach small whitish eggs to surfaces and harborages where the bugs hide in loose clusters. These eggs are as small as a speck of dust. And they do have 5 nymphal instars. And these instars need a blood meal between each instar. And a little bit about the habits. They are nocturnal, as we said before, and they harbor in clusters. But they are not social insects like bees. Bees are social insects where they need each other to survive. And they do hide during the daytime in cracks and crevices. If you see bed bugs during the daytime, that usually means you have a fairly severe infestation. And they do get behind the baseboards, on the bed frames, the mattresses, and behind the pictures. And like we said before, they take a blood meal to replace it in 3 to 10 minutes. And they need a blood meal between each instar. And they prefer humans, but they will feed on other hosts, such as animals. They will travel approximately 5 to 20 feet each way nightly to feed. They do prefer to stay on the beds because they want to be close to the host, which is the humans. And they will feed every few days, approximately every 3 days, if the host is available. And while they're feeding, they will excrete part of the previous meal while feeding. And this is what causes the blood spots on the mattresses. And they can remain fully active at 45 degrees or less. And this is the instars while they're feeding. And it's different size instars. You can see some very small ones here and the adult instar at the top right-hand corner. And these are the engorged nymphs. You can see how red they are just after getting a blood meal. And these are engorging adults. And as they engorge, they elongate as they're filling with blood. And this is a picture of one that's getting a blood meal. Now the eggs, as the adults, females deposit their eggs, there's a little lid on the end of the egg, which is on there when they drop the eggs, and the larva comes out of the egg capsule and just pops that lid open as they come out. And you can see the blood drops on the fabric here. And this is what they deposit as they're feeding and as they're resting also. But these are all empty egg capsules where the larvae have come out already. And you can see the bed bug on the fabric and the stains. Now, there is a reaction caused by the bug's saliva. And when a bed bug is on you feeding, you will never actually feel the bite. They've done a lot of research and put bed bugs on people. And every time they put a bed bug on somebody, they would feed on them. Nobody would ever feel the bites. And at the site of the bite, you would get a large oval oblong shaped inflammation or swelling of the skin, which would occur. And now, as on here, it says it may occur because a lot of people don't get any inflammation. They don't even know they've been bitten. And a lot of times you will get severe itching that can last for several hours. And some people with severe hypersensitivity have reported asthmatic problems. And some people have gone to the doctor with allergy problems that have not had any allergic reactions such as the swelling or itching. And if they went back to their apartments, they would find out that they had bed bugs there, but they had no welts on them, and they had no itching problems on their arms or legs or body anywhere. but all they had was like allergy problems.